and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. You know, it's a wonderful fan.
Okay, babes, grab your tea because you will not believe what just surfaced behind the velvet draped walls of Kensington Palace. I mean, it's giving royal drama like never before. Picture this. In a quiet, almost forgotten corner of the palace, someone found a secret gift. Yes, secret. Left behind by none other than Princess Diana herself, for Catherine's daughter. And guess who ended up in full-blown tears over it? Queen Camilla. Oh, it's not just tears, darling. There was emotion, drama, jealousy, or maybe something even deeper. So here's what actually went down. It was a totally normal morning in Kensington. Birds chirping, sun shining through those majestic windows, and Catherine, who's been under the weather lately, decides to go through some of the palace's old belongings. You know, just some let me browse through history vibes. She ends up in a quiet, tucked away space, surrounded by items that once belonged to Princess Diana. Yes, the Diana. Most of these things had been hidden from public eyes, locked away with care. And then, boom, Catherine stumbles upon this old jewelry box. Nothing flashy. In fact, it looked worn out and barely touched for ages. She opens it, probably expecting to find dusty trinkets. But inside, there's a letter. Not just any letter, it had this soft, delicate handwriting, and it said, in that iconic light blue ink, "For my future granddaughter." Wait, a letter from Diana? For a granddaughter she'd never even met? Catherine's breath stopped, literally. She opened it, hands trembling. The letter wasn't just emotional. It was soul-shaking. Diana had written something so beautiful, so raw, a message of love and hope to a little girl she'd never meet but had always imagined. She poured out her heart, her dreams, her fears. And one line, it hit hard. "I wish for you to have the freedom to be more than just a princess." Are you kidding me? Catherine could barely hold it together. Her hands shook, tears welled up. It wasn't just words, it was a bridge between past and future, between Diana and Charlotte. Between a woman who once felt imprisoned by duty and a child who might be free. But babes, that's not all. Beneath the velvet lining, Catherine spots something glittering. She moves the fabric and a brooch. Not just any brooch. We're talking vintage diamonds surrounding a deep blue sapphire, glowing like it had its own secret to tell. It radiated elegance and something else. A stillness, a strength. Turns out, this wasn't just lost treasure. Historians thought it was gone forever. Some thought it burned in a fire. Others thought it was stolen. But no, babes, it had been there all along, kept safe, and it originally belonged to Lady Cynthia Spencer, Diana's grandmother. But here's the kicker. The design, totally unlike other royal jewelry. It was personal, private, almost like Diana had it custom made. Rumor has it she created this during a time when she felt completely alone. A piece meant not for William or Harry, but for a granddaughter she only dreamed of. That brooch is now safe, locked away again, but not forgotten. The plan? It'll be given to Princess Charlotte on her 18th birthday. Not as a simple gift, but as a symbol of legacy, of love, of connection across generations. And trust me, it's going to be iconic because it's not just about jewels or royalty. It's about a woman, Diana, who, even in pain, chose hope. It's about a future queen who found strength in that hope. And it's about Charlotte, who might just grow up knowing she is more than her title. But let's rewind. What was Diana really going through that made her leave such a powerful message for a little girl she'd never meet? Let me tell you, the Diana royal family saga, oh honey, buckle up. So, who really was Diana inside those palace walls? Let's not sugarcoat it. Diana's time in the royal family, it was a roller coaster. Highs, lows, and full-on heartbreak. At first, Queen Elizabeth thought Diana was the perfect fit. Posh background, proper family. Should have been easy, right? Wrong. The Queen thought Diana just needed time to adjust. But sweetie, what they didn't expect was how emotional Diana was. I mean, the girl felt things. She cried, she broke down, she needed comfort. But the Queen? Totally reserved. Stiff upper lip, darling. No space for tears in public. So Diana's emotional outbursts? Yeah. They didn't mesh well with royal coldness. And don't get us started on her marriage. Diana met Charles when she was just 16. He was 29. Ew. Still, Charles was taken by her charm, and by 1980, he was feeling the pressure to marry someone aristocratic, virginal, and royal ready. Diana checked all the boxes, or so he thought. But while they were smiling for cameras, Charles was still talking to Camilla Parker Bowles. Yes, that Camilla. She was already married and still very much in the picture. Diana felt it. She knew. And when she found that bracelet Charles made for Camilla engraved with their pet names, Fred and Gladys, oh honey, the rage. The betrayal, it was real. The tension got worse. Charles was jealous, yes, jealous of how loved Diana was by the public. Crowds screamed for her. If Charles showed up instead of her, people were visibly disappointed. Diana sparkled. He didn't. The marriage crumbled, the affairs on both sides, pain, scandal, and eventually separation in 1992. And yet, despite it all, Charles helped bring Diana's body back from Paris when she died. But even before her tragic passing, not everyone in the royal family treated her with kindness. Take Prince Philip. Now, believe it or not, he actually tried to help Diana variously. He'd married into the family too, so he got the outsider struggle. He wrote her letters, offering support. He even admitted he wasn't the best advice giver, but he tried. Diana appreciated that. She replied warmly at first, but over time, their bond soured. Philip got snippy. He cared more about the royal reputation than Diana's happiness, and she felt that hard. Now, let's talk about Camilla, because whew, Diana once thought she was just a friend, but that changed fast, especially after that confrontation. Yes, Diana confronted Camilla at a party about the affair, and guess what? Camilla didn't deny it, and while Diana was hurting, she found joy in her bond with Sarah Ferguson. And Diana actually played matchmaker for her and Prince Andrew. After Sarah joined the royal family, they became a duo, facing royal life together. Remember those fun snow pictures in 1987? Iconic. But even that friendship hit the rocks. The media turned them into rivals. Sarah suspected Diana leaked details about her post-divorce getaway. Then came the final straw. Sarah wrote in her book that she got foot problems from borrowing Diana's shoes. Diana cut her off, no contact, and when Diana died, they hadn't spoken in a year. Diana's true joy? Her boys, William and Harry. She wanted them to be raised differently. She took them on buses, to McDonald's, even to theme parks. Yes, a literal prince eating fries with ketchup like the rest of us. That was Diana's way. She wanted them to understand life outside the palace bubble. In that 2017 documentary, William opened up. He said he thinks of her every day. She was fun, kind, and real. She made sure her boys knew they were loved. Harry remembered her jokes, her laughter, and those warm, tight hugs that made him feel safe. He said he could still feel her arms around him. I mean, cute tears. But her sudden death in 1997 left William 15 and Harry just 12. It broke them. Diana didn't click with everyone in the royal fam either. Take Princess Anne. Total opposites. Anne loved nature, wore practical clothes, and literally hadn't changed her hairstyle in 50 years. Diana, glamorous, loud, loved city life. They clashed. And Margaret, Queen Elizabeth's sister? At first, she liked Diana, understood the fame game, but after Diana's explosive Panorama interview in 1995, Margaret was done, cut Diana off, burned her letters, and at Diana's funeral, she didn't even bow her head. That's ice cold. Even the Queen Mother had mixed feelings. She and Diana's grandmother were besties, so she tried to be nice at first, but she always favored Charles. Diana felt ignored. Like her feelings didn't it matter? When Diana died, the palace literally reused the Queen Mother's funeral plans. Awkward. Then there's Princess Michael of Kent. Diana couldn't stand her. Known for being snobby, Princess Michael was dubbed Princess Pushy and the U-boat commander. Why? Because her dad was in the SS. Yes, that SS. Plus, she made racist comments, once telling black diners to go back to their colonies and allegedly naming her black sheep after Venus and Serena Williams. Disgusting. Diana? She didn't tolerate that. Not for 1 second. She was constantly battling cold shoulders, outdated traditions, and judgment. But did she let that break her? Nope. She focused on her boys and her charity work. She shook hands with AIDS patients when no one else would. She hugged lepers, she broke protocol, and she did it with heart. That's why the people adored her. That's why she's still loved today. Diana may have been hurt, may have cried behind palace doors, but she never lost her compassion or her authenticity. And now, decades later, her legacy is stirring again, all thanks to a letter and a brooch and a very emotional Catherine. So what happened after Catherine found that letter and brooch? Oh, honey, everything changed. Catherine, normally so composed, was shattered. The room, silent. Curtains drawn, doors closed. No staff, no distractions. Just her and Diana's words. She held that letter like it was something sacred, because it was. Not just ink on paper, it was love, reaching across generations. She cried, yes, but not just from sadness. It was something deeper, transformative. She felt it. Diana's pain, her dreams, her hope. In that moment, Catherine wasn't just a duchess or a future queen. She was a woman, a mother, a soul connecting with another. Palace insiders said it was like she'd been cracked open. Something shifted inside her. And when she emerged from that room hours later, red-eyed but calm, she wasn't the same. And guess what she did next? She pulled out an old journal, one she hadn't touched in years, and she began to write a letter, but not to the public. Not for history books. This was for Charlotte, her daughter, her girl, her future. This wasn't a fancy royal speech. It was real, honest. From one mother to her daughter, Catherine poured her soul onto those pages. She talked about pressure, about being seen but not understood, about wearing a smile when your heart is aching. She wanted Charlotte to know the truth, not about crowns, but about courage. She wrote, not as someone who will become a queen, but as a mother preparing her daughter for a world that will require both elegance and bravery. Ugh, goosebumps. And here's the plan. When Charlotte turns 18, she'll get it all. The brooch, Diana's letter, and Catherine's. A gift wrapped in time. 3 generations, 3 voices, 1 legacy. But babes, this quiet, emotional night, it rocked the palace. Because guess who didn't take it well? Queen Camilla. Oh, yes. The second she heard about the letter and the brooch, she was furious. Not annoyed furious. We're talking storming into the king's office, kind of furious. She slammed the door, marched right in, and said, "Why wasn't this destroyed? Destroyed, babe." This wasn't about a brooch or a letter. This was about Diana coming back from the shadows, reclaiming her space. And Camilla, she could feel the shift because Diana wasn't just a memory anymore. She was everywhere. In the press, in the public's hearts, in Catherine. And Camilla, who worked so hard to reinvent herself, to climb to the top, was suddenly second best again. Palace staff said she didn't sleep. She ordered a full review of all Diana archives, quietly, of course. She wanted to make sure nothing else would suddenly appear. Another letter, another gift? Camilla was terrified, and the worst part, it wasn't about royal rankings anymore. It was about love, because the public, they weren't cheering for Camilla. They were falling in love with Catherine, just like they once loved Diana. Catherine didn't try to outshine anyone. She didn't seek attention, but the people saw her. The way she carried herself, her warmth, her dignity, it reminded everyone of Diana. And that terrified Camilla. One palace aide whispered, "She's too graceful, too loved, too much like Diana. And she doesn't even try." Meanwhile, Charles, caught in the middle. He loves Camilla, yes, but even he saw how the world's gaze had shifted again. Catherine was now the center, the future, the quiet queen of hearts. And what about William? Oh, babes, William's reaction was silence. No press statements, no tweets, no interviews, just quiet. And when Charlotte opens those letters, when she touches that brooch, she won't just be receiving a family heirloom. She'll be inheriting a message. You are more than your title. You are free. You are loved. And babes, isn't that what Diana always wanted? In the end, this wasn't just about royal drama, and it was about a daughter, a mother, and a grandmother, all connected by courage, tears, and truth. 2 queens may sit in the palace, but only one wears the crown of hearts.